There is well over 100 different models of electric car you can buy in Norway. In fact, I lost count at about 120. I started to but one of them, only one of them, is just eviscerating everyone else. One of them is taking 20% share of the entire car market. I've never seen this ever. I don't believe this has ever happened in the history of the planet where one single car, at least in the last 50 years of global history, has dominated like this. Now, the strange thing is, this is happening with a car that's not exactly cheap. It's not like, someone come along and went, hey guys, we're going to give you this really cheap, affordable car. And everyone went, oh great, we want affordable cars. We're going to buy that. This car is relatively pricey. And this is what it's doing. There's only one country in the world where around 85% of all cars sold are fully electric. Only one country. There's only one country in the world where they have enormous amount of choice on EVs and they're not choosing anything else, really. That's Norway. And what's going on in Norway is very, very interesting. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Sam Evans. What an interesting number of sales we've seen this year in Norway. The sales so far are truly, truly staggering because this is the only car market we have where we can really kind of look into the future. We can say, wow, look at what's happening here. Is this the future for the rest of the world? In Norway, 85% of all cars sold so far this year have been fully electric. In the month of May, that figure was a new record, but it's pretty close to the last few months, so it's not even worth looking at that. But the reality here is, in Norway, almost everyone is buying electric cars. Those that aren't are buying plug-in hybrids. The actual gasoline-powered cars sold, I think, is less than 5% now. It's ridiculous. So in Norway, there's a lot of choice. There's a lot of EVs. In fact, you can even buy Neo, you can buy Xpeng, you can even buy BYD, you can buy, there's 3 other Chinese car manufacturers there that I know of. There's probably others that I don't know of. None of them sell, unfortunately, for them. I'm talking about all the Chinese car manufacturers. Strange there. But anyhow, the interesting thing is here that Tesla, with only one model of car, one model, they don't sell that many Model 3. So it's really just one model driving this, own 25% of an entire car market. Now, I keep hearing journalists, in particular ones on a certain electric car website that I won't talk about, saying that Tesla's capped. They can't actually increase their sales in Europe. It can't happen because they've reached market saturation. People are just going to go to other brands now. But interestingly, that website, and they're very pro-EV, they're pro-renewable energy, very, very good, but they continue to say things that I think are false because the reality is here, Tesla's percentage of the market in Europe is nothing. It's minuscule in comparison to the percentage of the market that they own in Norway, which is 25%. I'm not talking the month of May here. In the month of May, it was 25%. I'm talking the whole year. We're talking 5 months of sales, and Tesla has 25%, not of a market segment. I'm talking of an entire market. Now, if you look at EV sales, Tesla owns more than that. They own 30% of all EV sales, but 25% of an entire car market. This is a mature car market. There's affordable cars here. There's all kinds of cars. And we're talking about absolute domination. Now, the great thing about all of this is that Norway's actual emissions from their cars are shrinking rapidly. It happens much quicker than you realize. People say, if we start buying EVs, then it doesn't make much difference because, the global car fleet, they're gasoline powered. It's going to take decades before that changes. It doesn't. It's not true. Completely false. Please stop spreading this information. If you're one of those people, stop saying it. If you're not, tell your friends this is completely false. The actual speed at which this happens is much quicker than people realize. It's sort of like, remember when we had those crappy old Nokia phones and we started using smartphones? The transition, it was very fast. It was much quicker than what people realized it would be. With 13,342 new car registrations, May was a very good month for the car industry in Norway. The figure is 15.6% higher than the same month last year, says Elbil24, which is basically the most well-known Norwegian motoring publication. There's only one catch though. Tesla had 23% of the entire market and it maintains 25% of the car market this year. Tesla has continued to cruise into what is very likely to be a record year for the car manufacturer. In fact, it is a record year. And that is largely due to a single car model. That was registered in May was the Model Y. 20% of all cars sold in Norway so far this year have been the Tesla Model Y. The rest of them that make up that difference for Tesla to achieve that 25% were the Model 3. Keep in mind though, Tesla is about to release a new version of the Model 3 that may drive sales a fair bit once that's released. And the other thing that's worth considering is there will be a new Model Y in the first quarter of 2024. The really interesting thing is here though, the actual sales figures. Tesla sold 2,700 Model Ys in May. The next closest car was the ID4. Volkswagen ID4 had 738 sales. In third place was the BMW iX1 with 594 deliveries. In total, the proportion of zero emissions cars combined to make it the best month ever in Norway. The only Toyota vehicle that sold in the top 10 was actually the Toyota RAV4 in fourth place with 580 deliveries. Obviously, that's a pretty good number for Toyota, 580, but it's not a lot compared to the 2,700 for the Model Y. Now, Ford actually got a decent result with the Mustang Mach-E. They came in seventh place with 372 deliveries. But one thing that was interesting is there's not a single Chinese electric car in the top 20. That is except for what is perceived to be a non-Chinese car, the MG4. It's actually Chinese, but a lot of people still think MG is a British company, which obviously it isn't. So far this year, 51,000 cars have been registered in Norway. That compares to 53,600 last year. However, there's one thing that's happened, and this gives you an interesting insight to the possible future for the automotive industry. There are cars everywhere, as in electric cars. You don't have to wait. Here's what LBill24 says. The big advantage right now in Norway is the waiting time for new cars has become very short. It's much shorter than it used to be for buying a new car. In many cases, there's electric cars sitting at lots and lots of dealerships. What that means is that you can buy a Volkswagen EV. You can buy a BMW EV. People are. You can buy a Ford EV. You can buy a Hyundai EV. You can buy actually a Toyota EV even. It's a direct competitor, some people would say, to the Tesla Model Y. But people aren't really buying many of them. Instead, they're buying Teslas. Tesla Model Ys. Now, the interesting thing is here, you have a choice. You have a choice of so many different cars, but it seems as though a very large percentage of people are still deciding they want a Tesla. In a car market that's been selling Tesla vehicles for more than 10 years, people still aren't sick of them. I honestly am a little bit surprised to see one car dominate like this. And it makes you have to ask the question, can Tesla do something similar in other countries? They could possibly. I mean, if this is what we see, if this is a mature car market, if this is a car market where people have many, many, many choices, they can choose from many different Chinese models, they can choose from many different European models, there's even American EVs, there's even Japanese EVs, there's the MX-30 EV, there's models from almost every car manufacturer that are electric in Norway because people want EVs in Norway and they don't want anything else. So these car manufacturers, the only way they can actually sell cars in Norway is if they sell electric ones. And yet, even in spite of all those offerings, Tesla is still completely dominating the market. And that makes you ask the question here, what will happen in 2030 when we have mature car markets all around the world? I don't think Tesla's going to dominate like this. In fact, that's extremely unlikely. But if we take into consideration the fact that Tesla is planning on selling 20 million cars a year, and the way they plan on doing it is by having an extremely affordable car that they will manufacture at a lower cost than all their competition. That's their plan. And when they say things like this, we're going to make more of the Model 2, the affordable Tesla, than we do of the Model Y, the Model 3, the Model S, the Model X, the Cybertruck, and the Semi combined, put them all together, times those by 2, and that's how many Model 2s Tesla want to make and sell. If you're the other car manufacturers and you're already getting your pants pulled down in a mature car market, you have to be at least a little bit concerned, or at least think to yourself, we need to get a move on to compete with Tesla. We need to do some serious work on improving our cars. Now, that could just be the end result here. It could just spur them to work harder and to provide better products at a lower price. That's what I hope happens. But let me know what you think is going to happen in the comments. And thank you for watching.